My name's Andy Sargent from Icopal. Today we're at JJ Roofing's dedicated roofing training centre at Cricklewood, and we're going to be demonstrating the installation of the Enviroflex system. As we're going to be going on to a new timber deck today, we're going to make sure that our deck is nice and clean, free of all dust and debris, and then we're going to prime using the EP1 primer. This EP1 primer is going to go on top of the timber, the GRPs, trims, and also around the PVC pipe. We're going to be applying the EP1 primer to the timber deck, the GRP trims and the PVC pipe detail, and we're going to be using the EP1 primer, which is a milky white primer. It's water based, so our brushes will clean out in water afterwards, and we should be looking at a drying time today of about 20 to 25 minutes. We're going to apply the primer by brush, a nice even coat, which should be about 0.1 of a litre per square metre. So we've now applied the EP1 primer to the timber deck, our upstands, onto all of our GRP trims and corner details, and onto the PVC pipe. That's going to promote adhesion to the surfaces that we've got here, and we're going to be looking at a drying time of about 25 to 30 minutes depending on weather conditions. Now we've got our wooden deck primed with our EP1 primer, and it's gone off, took about 35 minutes. We're going to be applying our reinforced Enviroflex system onto this deck. Here we've got our waterproofing compound, our Enviroflex. The tools that we're going to be using for this: good sharp pair of scissors, brush and a small roller. This is for our detail work, and we'll be using the 100mm reinforcing fabric and the 300mm reinforcing fabric at this point. So to start our installation, we need to cut a small piece of fabric to go up against the back of our upstand, just to waterproof any gap that we have on the edge of that trim. Having decanted some of the material into a small tray, we then brush this material onto the surface, and we're looking for a decent coating, like a thick gloss paint, enough to stick the fabric to our substrate. Take that fabric and lay it into place, pushing it down so that we have no bubbles or wrinkles. And at that point, we will leave that in place, that material starting to go off, and we'll carry on with our detailing work around the roof. We're now going to go over to the other side and do exactly the same. Applying the liquid to where we're going to put the fabric. So again, we're just pushing that fabric into the base liquid to reinforce that joint there, making sure we've got no bubbles or wrinkles, and just brushing the product out. Next, we're going to apply our reinforcing fabric to our trim to board detail, because we are going to be coming across that with our field area, and we will do that at that point. We're now going to do exactly the same on the other side. Okay, we're now going to seal the other side of the roof, the GRP trim to the roof deck. Taking our pre-cut length of fabric, making sure we're pretty equal over the joint. So using our brush again, just pushing that fabric into place. And that's our second trim sealed to the deck. Okay, now we're going to seal our upstand detail onto our deck using the 300mm fabric. So we've got our upstand detail across our tilt fillet, and we've cut the fabric into the line of the trim and just round the upstand of the trim there. So once we've got our fabric in place, we know we're happy with the positioning, we can now pull that fabric back and apply our base coat of Enviroflex. I'm going to swap to a roller now because we're going using the wider fabric. It's important to get your roller nicely loaded up. And then we're going to apply to the width of the fabric. And as we put that roller down on there, we're looking for almost like a ripple effect in the liquid, which should tell us that we've got pretty much enough in place. And again, going onto our upstand. And using the brush for the angle. We can now take our fabric, pushing it into place and making sure we get it pushed nicely into that joint along the Harris rail. If we want to know if we've got enough material underneath the base coat, if you can write your initials or a line in there with the end of your finger and the material comes through grey, we know that we've got enough beneath it. At this stage, I'm going to take the fabric, roll it back and apply the rest of the liquid coating to this area. Always making sure that we've got that nice thick coating, there's no open grains in the wood left. I'm going to unroll the fabric, pushing it into place. Now we can unroll the final length of fabric, working our way across, pushing it into that detail there. Using our brush just to smooth it into place, taking care of any bubbles or wrinkles that you might have. And we're ready to saturate that. Now we're going to use our roller just to put a coat on the upstand detail. We're taking the liquid past the edge of the fabric so that we've got a termination point there. Taking care not to put too much liquid on because we don't want to get any runs at this stage. Okay. So now we're going to seal again our GRP trim to our timber deck. using the 100mm fabric. So I'm just going to roll the fabric back out of the way. Take my roller and apply it just wider than the width of the fabric. I can lay that out into place, pushing it down. And then take the fabric, roll back from the other end. Always important to remember that you need to keep that coating nice and thick so that we can get the fabric to embed nicely into it. Using a roller, it's that ripple effect that you're looking for. Taking our fabric, making sure that our edge is nice and straight. And then we can take our brush, just using the pressure of the brush to push it down into that liquid. Again, at this stage, we don't need to saturate it because we will do that when we lay our field area. If there's any areas that you haven't put enough of the base coating on, you can always just peel the fabric back, recoat and press the fabric into place. Now we need to seal our fabric over the edge of our trim. So again, taking our brush or our roller, making sure that we've got enough liquid on there to hold the fabric in place. And then over the edge of our trim. Sometimes it's necessary just to put a small cut in your fabric, just to release it, to allow it to go around that detail. Now sealing the last of our side trims onto our deck, showing that you can use a brush or a roller for this. And we're going to come over the edge of our trim. With our brush. Okay. So now we're going to seal our drip edge to our deck. So we've just pushed the fabric over to create the overhang there, and then we'll just cut back. And then just apply our base coat, making sure we saturate that fabric at this point. Push that fabric into place. And once we've done the same on the other side, that's all of our details for our trims sealed to our deck.